I'm so cute right now. I'm living for myself. Stop. Hey friends, so I am back. The great thing about being unemployed, which I'm technically not unemployed, I'm technically between jobs, but when people say that, it sounds like they're just lying about being unemployed, but I'm actually between jobs. My new job doesn't start until after Christmas. So, the good thing about being between jobs is that I can make a bunch of videos because usually I don't have the house to myself and I feel awkward when I'm like, our house is very small, so my mom can literally hear me being like, and then they had fucking sex. So I don't really love that for me. Today I'm going to be doing a favorite books of 2019 video. I'm super pumped about it because I just love talking about the books that I loved, and I had a really good reading year. As of today, I think I've read 55 books this year, which is wild. One of my New Year's resolutions was to read more, and it's really the one that I have just nailed the most. Obviously, since I started this channel, it has really helped me to, I don't know, just like find more books that I'm interested in and sort of like find what I like. So even though I've read some duds this year, I've definitely found some new favorite books, which is, I'm gonna show you when I finally get into it and stop fucking talking, which I'm gonna do right now. Let's get into it. Also, before I start, this is in no particular order. I know I said I was starting. I'm gonna start now. I'm just letting you know. No particular order until I say that it is in a particular order. Okay, great. I ramble so much in these videos. Someone needs to come and just clock me. So the first book I want to talk about is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is probably going to be, if not people's absolute favorite, definitely going to be on their top favorites because this book was like the most talked about book of this year. For those of you who don't know, Daisy Jones and the Six is about Daisy Jones and the Six. They are a fake fictional rock band that existed in the 60s and 70s. They broke up and people don't know why, and now it's sort of it's in an interview format and they're telling all their sides of the story about why this band broke up. This blew me away way more than I thought it would. I was not expecting to like it because it's just not something that I would normally pick up, but because people were like losing their damn minds. Alright, I'll put a hold on it in my library because I wanted to listen to the audiobook because most people say that's the way you should, you know, engage with this content, and I have to agree. I don't think I would have liked it half as much if it wasn't on an audiobook. I listened to it in about 2 days, I believe. I had a long drive, and so I listened to it on my long drive, and then I finished it the next day, and I was like, this is extremely good. I just loved it. I loved the characters. I thought they were super real. I thought the relationships were incredibly real as well. I know I said it in my wrap-up of this book when I originally read it, but I really love the relationships between the female characters in particular. I think it's a really great read. I get why it was so hyped up. It was definitely one of the best books that I read this year, but I will say, once again, you should listen to the audiobook. I don't know if it would have had the same impact if I had been reading it. It's impossible for me to say because now I like care about the story, and so reading it now I'm like, oh, like I'm already engaged with it. So it's hard for me to say if I would have been as engaged, but I feel like no, I lean towards no. So take that as you will. So the next book that I want to talk about as a favorite in 2019 is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. This book is so wholesome. I can't even begin. I know a lot of people have talked about it. It's like, it's not as big as Daisy Jones, but I feel like a lot of people have talked about it. But The Prince and the Dressmaker is about a prince and a dressmaker. Essentially, this prince dresses up in, I don't even know if it's drag because they hint at the fact that they might be like genderqueer or non-binary because they say that they like identify as a girl some days and a man in other days. So I don't want to ascribe labels or pronouns to that, but yeah, basically they dress up in dresses and they don't want anyone to know, and so they have this secret dressmaker and she makes these beautiful, beautiful gowns, and it's just a very wholesome story. I especially needed it in the month that I read it because I was reading such sad shit that I was like, I can't handle this anymore. So I ended it with this, and that was a great decision because it's so sweet. There were concerns from me personally about like the subject matter because I didn't know if it would be triggering at all. It seems lighthearted from the cover and everything, the colors, but like you never really know for sure. Transphobia, homophobia, misogyny, that sort of thing is just rampant in the world and kind of normalized. So you never know when it's gonna just pop up and people are gonna be like, oh yeah, it's just a thing. But that didn't really happen. There was like a dash of it, but it wasn't enough to like make this story triggering or less wholesome. And that's coming from someone who is super triggered by like homophobia and transphobia. So it was great. I really recommend reading it, especially if you need to pick me up, because it's, like I said, and keep saying, it's extremely wholesome. The next books that I want to talk about may come as a surprise because I haven't talked about them on my channel yet, because I haven't done my wrap up for December. But it's the Folk of the Air trilogy. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, so this is still fresh for me because I finished Queen of Nothing last night. I actually read Cruel Prince in November, and then I started reading Wicked King yesterday, and I read all of it, and then I read Queen of Nothing right after. I was not expecting to love these as much as I did, but oh boy, I just thought they were amazing. If you don't know what it's basically about this girl, Jude, who is a human, but she is spirited away to the fairy world when she is a child because basically this fairy kills her parents. It's not a spoiler, it happens in like the first chapter. She is just trying to navigate the really, really rough world of being a fairy and being in fairy and not being a fairy. I'm not gonna say people did not like Queen of Nothing, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews and a lot of people saying that they didn't like it. There are definitely some parts of it that I was like, okay. But overall, I thought it was a great ending. I was really happy, but I also didn't have to wait for it, so my opinion is skewed. So take my opinion as you will. If you want to stay mad, then, you know, I relate. I'm a Taurus. I will stay mad as well. So I'm really glad that I read them because, honestly, for a while I didn't think that I should give them a chance because a lot of people that I enjoy watching their content, they didn't like it. But at the same time, I was like, do I care? I need to stop having expectations is what I learned this year because I expected to not like Daisy Jones and I loved it, expected to not like these and I love them, so. The next books that I want to talk about are the Heartstopper books by Alice Oseman. Oh my god, these are so cute. I don't have a lot to say about these because it's similar to The Prince and the Dressmaker in that they are like lighter fare. It's just really like wholesome content. It's really like a good pick-me-up story. There's conflict, obviously, because it wouldn't be a story if there wasn't some sort of conflict, but overall, it's just, these books make me happy, and it's so rare for a book that, like, that's good and it doesn't stress you out. Like, these don't stress me out at all. Like, I'll have moments where I'm like, but then 5 seconds later, it's all fine because this is wholesome content, and she doesn't want you to be upset. She wants you to feel warm and fuzzy, which I do every time I read these. I cannot recommend them enough. I pre-ordered the third one before it even had a cover. Like, I was like on it. So I am delighted to read the next in the series because I cannot speak highly enough about like the impact of these. They just make me extremely happy. So yeah. Oh my god, I cannot ever stop my eyes from watering. I'm just getting so emotional talking about these great books. So the next books that I want to talk about are not a surprise, I'm sure. It's Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I am so late to the party on these, but I'm here. I'm at the party. Everyone's already packed up. It's been like years. They're confused about why I'm there, but I'm there, and I'm fucking dancing it up. My metaphors, I really just hang on to them too long. These books are great, is what I have to say. For those of you who don't know, what are you doing? But also, it's basically a character study. I always describe it as a character study with the backdrop of a heist. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like this is a very character-heavy book, which is what I personally like in books. I really don't like plot-heavy things. But there's still like plot twists and shit that I'm like, maybe I'm just dumb and I like can't predict anything, but they're really good. I love all the characters in this. I have said before too that I prefer to like look at the story as a whole instead of talking about the individual books because I think the individual books are good, but as a continuous story, it can't be beat, y'all. It really cannot. I just love The depth, the setting up of the characters in Six of Crows, and then the adding of depth in Crooked Kingdom, and how the relationships come together, and it makes me want to cry thinking about it. I sobbed when I read these books. Well, I sobbed when I read this one. I did shed a tear in Six of Crows because I'm just a crier like that. I'm a weak-ass bitch, but Crooked Kingdom, I sobbed. I get an emotional reaction a lot of the time because I'm me, but it's like rare that I actually sob at a book, and I sobbed at Crooked Kingdom. So I figured that in itself earned a spot on this list. It's just such a good duology. I cannot wait for the Netflix series. Hoo boy. Okay, so now we're getting into favorite book territory. Top 3 books of 2019. The first books that I want to talk about as my favorite books are not going to come as a surprise. I was gonna like try to come up with something fun to say, but there's nothing fun to say. This is serious. A Conjuring of Light and A Gathering of Shadows. I said those in the wrong order, but it's fine. So these are books 2 and 3 in the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. I cannot express, so basically these kickstarted my love of reading again. This is what really inspired me to like get into BookTube and to like make a channel and everything, because I was like, oh shit, yeah, I love reading. Because it's hard to remember when you're an English major that you love reading, because you do so much of it and it's just like, what am I doing this for? But these books made me remember that reading can be fun. You don't have to be discussing literary theory, and it doesn't have to be taxing. It can be like watching a movie. It can be fun, and it can be a hobby that doesn't like mentally drain you and like suck the will to live out of you. It sounds like I didn't enjoy being an English major. I loved it. It just was hard. For those of you who don't know, it's about a magician named Kel who lives in Red London, which is a alternate universe London, and he is the only magician other than one who lives in a different London who can travel between these worlds. So there's Grey London, Red London, Black London, and White London, and he can travel to all of them. The first book is about him kind of getting into trouble, and then all of the books after that kind of build off of what happened in the first book. I will say, if you read the first book and you didn't like it or thought it was boring or something, I would definitely try to read A Gathering of Shadows before you completely quit the series, because A Darker Shade of Magic, I was rereading it and I was like, I don't love it. Like, I liked it a lot, but I was like, I think I just didn't know what else to read, and that's why I moved on with the series, but I'm so happy that I did, because these 2 books are honestly amazing, and they just make my heart happy. They are extremely stressful. They will make you cry for sure. I mean, I can't say for sure because I'm you know, a cryy bitch. I'm a sensitive hoe, but they definitely can tug at your heartstrings. I've never loved every single character in a book, even like side characters, but I do. In this series, I just am so protective of all of them, especially Rye. I tweeted something about how much I loved Rye, and V.E. Schwab retweeted it, and it was like the best moment of my life. I just can't wait for the next, because there's more of these coming out, and I just cannot wait. I'm gonna lose my damn mind. So yeah, love these books. So finally we reach my favorite book of 2019. I have an official favorite, I will say, after that. Even with the Shades of Magic series, which I love with my whole heart, I cannot say I love them more than this book, which is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. If you did not see this coming, who are you? Welcome to my channel. It's the love story between the first son of the United States and the Prince of England. I literally want to cry just thinking about it. This book is everything to me. I emotionally connect with this so much. I can't. It's so hard for me to talk about this because I just want to weep. This book came to me at a time when I was really struggling and really having a difficult time, and it could not have come sooner. This book is such a hopeful book. I'm literally already about to start crying. Ugh! This book is a very hopeful book. The love story between between Henry and Alex is just so sweet. But the larger commentary on political climate and what it means, like what identity means, and I'm literally tearing up. I cannot get over myself. Look at this. Oh my god. I'm wearing waterproof mascara and it doesn't work. I paid $5 for this. You'd think that it would fucking help me out when I needed it. It's a great story about identity and optimism and believing the best in people and like seeing that best in defeating the odds, and I just love it. It makes me so, like, it makes, these are happy tears. Like, I'm not sad. These are happy tears about how much I just love this book and how much it means to me, and I can never express that enough. Casey McQuiston really did that to me, and I cannot fucking wait for her next book. One Last Stop. We get a female romance, time traveling. I need to sip from my gay mug. I can't believe I'm crying. Anyway, this book is great. It's probably my favorite book next to The Secret History, which is a weird combination, but I contain multitudes. So that is it for my favorite books of 2019. I still have tears in my eyes from talking about Red, White, and Royal Blue, which, you know, literally every time I talk about that book to friends, family, I start crying, which really, I feel like if it was a stranger, they would be like, wow, this book really must be good. But because it's my friends and family, they're like, oh, this bitch is crying again. So please tell me your favorite books of 2019. If I haven't read them, I would love to read them. I'm definitely continuing my goal of reading a lot next year. I still have set my goal at 52 books because I don't want to overexert myself and say 100. I want to 100, but I haven't been reading consistently enough to say that, and I don't want to set a goal that, you know, will make me feel bad about myself. So we're going for 52 again. If I get above that, great. So again, tell me about your goals for the year. Tell me about the books you read, the books you can't wait to read in 2020, maybe new releases, maybe books you just have on your backlist. Tell me it all. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I hope you guys have a happy holidays and an even better, more fruitful, glorious new year. 2020. We're going Gatsby, y'all. Bye!